This is the live I've been talking about. I've been so excited about. And I know I look crazy. I know I'm outside. I've been wanting to be outside for the longest. I have not been wanting to be inside for the past couple days. So I'm outside and I wanted to welcome everyone and share a lot of the things that I've been reflecting on when it comes to these eclipses. I wanted to share, I got my little rose crown on, taking the throne, becoming the queen, taking the throne. That's what I got on. So I wanted to share about my experience with the last eclipse, what I feel like we're going to be going to experience with this eclipse. I also wanted to share how you can look in your chart and find some. You can look in your chart and find some kind of things that can point you to some past life things that you might need to work out. Um, I was gonna do a meditation, but I'm outside and the cars keep passing by, so that might be a little distracting. But at the end, I also want to let you know about a group that I'm starting, um, and I want you to be a part of it. Okay, so this is a little dark. Let me see if I can. If I need to turn on my light, I'm gonna see if I can turn on my light. Um, I thought I didn't need it, but it is dark. Okay, so while everyone's coming in to the live, let me see if this will make a difference. Let's see. Woo! That's too bright. Ooh, it's a little spooky. Okay, I guess I'll leave it right there for right now. Okay, so let's go back. Now, I wanted to tell you about what I learned about the last eclipse. I learned that it is a powerful portal that is not to be ignored. Okay, it's not to be ignored, and it's really important for for us to connect with our ancestors and with our. Hey, Andrea, what are you doing up? What are you doing up? Oh my gosh! so, on the solar eclipse happened last on March 29th, 2025, right? And that is when I decided I was going to make a choice to really focus on my self love no matter what. Okay. And in focusing on my self love, my reason for that was I wanted to get my money together. And in order to do that, I need to focus on my self love and my self worth. Like no matter what happens, this is what I'm going to focus on. And what I noticed is once I said, this is what I'm going to focus on no matter what, that's when I started getting tested, getting tested. Like, if this is what you say you're going to focus on no matter what, my ancestors, my spiritual team, we're going to make sure before we start blessing you and rewarding you with, with what comes with focusing on your self-worth. We want to see if you really mean it this time, because this is not the first time I said I was going to focus on my self-worth and my self-love. But this time I had like a seriousness about me, like this is it no matter what. Okay? And so I started getting tested left and right every day I was getting tested. And so it didn't matter what, I never swayed. I always, like, I was listening to myself. If anything even kind of seemed like it was testing my self-worth, I was playing my self-worth affirmations. I was removing myself from the situation. I was, saying all the things I needed to say, memorize for when people or things or situations might try to test me. And I was just moving forward no matter what. Even though, it was difficult at times, I was making every decision that I had in my toolbox to make to stay focused on my self-worth. Because, it comes to the point where you just get tired, you just get tired. And that's what I was. I was tired of the same old. And that's what happens when you get tired of the karmic loops. Like, like sometimes you can feel like this is self-sabotage, and sometimes it can be self-sabotage, but it feels like, this is something else. This is something heavier. This is something deeper. This is something that almost feels like it has me trapped. And so I was tired of always sabotaging myself. And I was just I always felt like a dog with a bone, but I was relentless with focusing on my self-worth. And I had to make choices that were painful. I had to make choices that were scary. Um, I had to make choices that were just like choices I've never made before, choices I never thought that I would have to make. And it seemed like every time I stood up and said and made a choice in the face of situations that were testing me, I got rewarding. So I make another choice that was difficult, then I get rewarded again. Then I made another choice that was difficult, then I get rewarded again. And to the point where it was like, okay, we see now. Like we see, we understand, and now we're going to help you do things that you might not have been able to do on your own, and remove you from, you know, remove. It was like it removed anything that was stopping me from walking in my self-worth the way that I know that I should. It removed it from my life. And even if it didn't totally remove it from my life, I was constantly every day being shown more things that gave me more clarity on, that was messing with my self-worth. That was messing with my self-worth. That was, it was things that I never even thought of. But then I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. That was affecting my self-worth. So I'm just being shown over and over and over again. And I am so, so grateful of where I am right now. So let me tell you about what's going on in the sky astrologically on March 29th and what's going on today. On March 29th, the solar eclipse was in Aries, the nakshatra Ashwini. Okay, so with Aries, it's about being bold and being confident and being a warrior and being a trailblazer. Okay, that's Aries. That's the energy of Aries. And it's also about, with being bold, it also, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars also rules the zodiac sign Scorpio. So it has that energy of endings to start new beginnings, and Aries is all about newness. So in order to have something new, you have to be able to end something. So that's what I did. I had to end a lot of things, like I said, things that I felt were attacking my self-worth. And with those bold endings, I had new beginnings, and a lot of different new beginnings in different stages. So the effects of a solar eclipse can last for up to 6 months. So the choice that I made to end my battle with self-worth, that was around or a little bit before March 29th. But the effects of this solar eclipse are still happening. And now it's almost like that car was particularly loud. It's almost like I'm being, tested again. Like, okay, are you still on the path? Are you still doing the things that you said you were going to do? And it's just amazing. So that was Aries. And the nakshatra, because I do Vedic astrology, the nakshatra that the solar eclipse was in was Ashwini. And Ashwini is ruled by 2 horses. Okay? And that just shows that, like, the things that happen in this nakshatra, they happen super duper fast. They happen extremely fast, right? And so that's what it seemed like. That's how it seemed like things were moving for me. Like, things were happening so fast. I would make a choice, I'll make a decision, and whoa, things are happening extremely fast. And it was almost like I just had to hold on for dear life because karma and my ancestors were just making things happen so fast for me. And I believe that with today's lunar eclipse being in Pisces, which is the sign that comes right before Aries, it's like we get to take a step back and set the foundation, set a solid foundation for any of the choices, for all the things that happened during the 6 months from March 29th and moving forward, when things were going so fast, it was like we couldn't take a breath. Now with this lunar eclipse, we can take a step back and really make sure that our subconscious, that's Pisces, make sure our subconscious mind is in the right place so that we can continue to move forward and continue to make the best decisions for us. Okay? So another thing with this lunar eclipse being in Pisces is in the nakshatra Uttara Bhadra. And Uttara Bhadra is ruled by Saturn. This also represents karma. But what Saturn represents is, it represents being able to be disciplined and have things in order and be patient. Okay? And it represents knowing how to deal with things that can be difficult for a long period of time. Okay? And when you go through new things, new experiences, things are new and they're exciting, but they can be like challenging. Okay? They can be challenging because this is a new arena, this is a new place for me, and everything is so new. And it's going to be important for us to reflect on anything that we wanted that was new, that was just new for us, that we had to start boldly. How consistent did we stay with it? How consistent did we stay with our choices? How consistent did we stay with what we told God that we wanted to do? And so it was my choice to stay consistent with focusing on my self-worth, and I have seen so many benefits from it. And I know that's because I took the energy of Aries, that boldness, that confidence, that newness, and then I used discipline to stay focused on it. And so now I see that I'm still being rewarded for it, even with this lunar eclipse. So that's mainly what I wanted to tell you about, like, and before, when I was making the decisions, it was like I could feel my ancestors, like, you know how you see signs, like, if you have a connection, any type of connection with your ancestors, it's like you start seeing signs that they're egging you on, and that they're with you, and then I should make this choice or I should make that choice, because like your ancestors are with you. Basically, you can almost feel them, like, do this, do this, do that. Don't ignore this. This is me helping you do the thing that you said that you wanted to do. And everything was so synchronistic that I knew every choice that I was making was to get me where I needed to go. I didn't know that the one choice that I made to focus on my self-worth, no matter what, was going to create all the transformations that it did. I had no idea. But I knew that I was supposed to go with God and do what He was telling me to do. And so that's basically my story. I wish I could be more detailed, but I can't right now. So that's all I can tell you. But just know that these eclipses are portals. It's not just another astrological event. These are serious portals that are being opened, and if you follow the synchronicities, if you make sure that you're disciplined with what you said you're going to do, um, if you are really ready, that's what it seemed like to me. If you are really ready, then they're going to, whether you feel like you're ready or not, well, whether you feel like you're ready or not, they're going to, the karma, the bit that you've built up, and your ancestors that have been watching you are going to push you where you need to be. If you have some sense of being ready, even if you don't feel fully ready, and if you pass the test, your life will be transformed. Okay. So I felt like I was really rambling, but I just wanted to, like, tell you as much as I can without really telling you. But this nakshatra that this lunar eclipse is in, it's like taking it a step further. And it's also in alignment with, so much in alignment with the new moon that was in Virgo 2 weeks ago, with leveling up. A lot of the new moon in Virgo had a lot to do with leveling up, but it also had a lot to do with being detailed, being organized, and being structured with whatever your intentions are, whatever your goals are. And this full moon, lunar eclipse, blood moon, is a way for us to see the progress. This is like the 2-week mark. How can we see the progress from any structuring that you did, any organizing that you did, any discipline that you were focused on? You can start to see the progress. This nakshatra, I was listening to a video from Claire Nocti last night, and she was talking about how this nakshatra has a lot to do, or it has a lot of connections with the Cinderella story, of how she started from ashes and then became a princess, and all that was from her kind of living the Saturn type of existence of being in servitude. That's Saturn. Being humiliated. That's Saturn. From learning how to be disciplined as a servant, and how she was blessed because of that. So I want us to, like, remember, because we're closing out this cycle, and then on the solar eclipse we're starting a new cycle, and I don't want us to miss anything. Okay, so remember where you were on March 29th. what you said that you were going to start, how um how faithful were you? How consistent were you? How hard did you work on starting that new thing that you said you wanted to start? And then this full moon, with the rewards that you get, with the clarity that you get, with the wisdom that you get, you'll be able to see how you can go ahead and manage this next cycle with the next solar eclipse that's happening on September 21st. And we can maximize, we can maximize um our intentions and our goals. So how do you know if you are stuck in a karmic loop? Okay, if you're stuck in a karmic loop for your life or your brand. If, just like I said, if you're seeing like there's this there's things that keep happening to me over and over and over again. And these things, it seems like it's more than self-sabotage. It seems like it's heavier than self-sabotage, okay? And it seems like it always happens when I'm progressing in my life in some way. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was for me. It seemed like whenever I'll get to a certain point, it was like something drugged me back. It was like something was pulling and dragging me back. And it was it comes to a certain point where the cycle happens so many times that like, okay, this is about to happen, this is what it is. And you understand, like I said, it's more than self-sabotage. And that's why your ancestors have to get involved. That's why karma has to get involved and take over, because some things are more than we can handle at the time. Some things are more than we can handle. And that's why we have these portals that open, that make things easier for karmic justice to happen, for our ancestors to help us, for our spiritual team to help us. That's why we have this, because some things are more than just wake up, be motivated, do what you need to do, stop self-sabotaging. Some stuff is more than that. It takes more to break down some things. And so when you are going through your life and you see these events keep happening to me, and I don't know what's going on, because when things are karmic, it's like something is important, like like there's something going on with this, but I don't really know what. I can't put my finger on it, but something is kind of weird. And these situations that keep happening to me is kind of weird. These people that keep doing these things to me, it's kind of weird. There's something about it I can't put my finger on. These thoughts that I keep having, I feel like maybe they're not my thoughts, or or I've always had these thoughts, and I've had these thoughts for so long that I don't even know that I'm thinking them. Things like that happen in your life and even in your business. Or like if you see, I'll use self-worth as an example. If you see that in your brand you don't do things, the things that you don't do, it's not like I'm just not doing them. Oh, hello, watching from India. Hey. So it's like, the things in your brand, or people keep telling you to raise your prices, you won't raise your prices. Or you keep getting the same type of clients, you keep getting the same type of customers. Or how else? You won't speak up, you won't get on the internet, you won't create content. Things like that, things that that you need to do, that you just won't do. That it feels like, or maybe I'm just afraid, or maybe it's just self-sabotage. It could be deeper than that. For me, I know, and this is why it's important to know your past lives. And I know a lot of my past lives, so I knew the path that I needed to take to get out of it. In a lot of my past lives, and even in early life, I experienced a lot of shame for allowing myself to shine. And in some past lives, I even was taken out for, oh, shoot, for shining and for being myself. Um, it's really easy for me to see other people's past lives. And it's really easy for me to see my past lives. Past lives is one of the first readings that I started doing for other people. So I know in a lot of my past lives, and that's because of my K2 placement, and I'm gonna talk about how astrology plays a role in this in a second. But because of my past lives where I was persecuted and even taken out because I was shining or shining in a way that people didn't understand, I had to work through allowing myself to shine in this current life and not being afraid or ashamed about it. Okay, so that was a karmic loop that I am currently working on. And that's why I'm doing this live, and it seems like I'm rambling because I'm just know this is something I got to do. So things will get better, don't worry. So um what was I even talking about? Oh, how do you know about how karmic loops show up in your business? Um Feeling like you can't connect with your audience, feeling like you can't find the right audience, um, not networking because it could be. I know a lot of people say they don't network because they don't want to network because of how of their appearance, how they look, things like that, whatever. But it also could be some past life experiences of just having bad relationships, um, and just not wanting to even deal with meeting new people. Um, so you want to reflect on what are the blocks that I keep saying, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I don't do it. Because something else with this new moon is the new moon that happened a couple weeks ago in Virgo. Virgo represents our daily work routine. And the part of Virgo that the new moon was in was ruled by Saturn. I deal with patterns because I do Vedic astrology. So that's why I'm saying again, it has so much to do with being detailed in the way that you provide service to other people, being structured in the way that you provide service to other people, being disciplined in the way that you provide service to other people, being humble, okay, being patient, because sometimes we want things to happen too fast. So being patient, all of that. So if you notice karmic loops just in that, like I just can't get my stuff together when it comes to being structured and disciplined when it comes to my brand, that could be a karmic loop that you need to break. Okay. Sometimes stuff just is not excuses. Sometimes stuff is just not self-sabotage. It's an energy around you that you need to cut cords with, that you need to release, and you need to be healed from. And that's another reason why I got into Reiki is because energetically there's so much that could be holding us back. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody or to say where you're just a victim, but to say that if you feel like I try to stay disciplined, I try to stay structured, it seems like it's more than me. Not I'm not saying, oh, it could just be negative energies, or it could just be past life situations, and that's why, and just leave it there. No, you always have the power, and that's why it's important to know that even if you're going through things that might seem like it's going to take more than you, fine. You have more than um you have your ancestors, and you have the universe, and you have God that's working for you. um so it's important to reflect on those loops, okay? And know that even if in the past, because it's over now I'm giving you the information, it's over now. We don't have to let it stop us anymore. In the past, if you have let those things stop you, you don't have to let it stop you anymore. Um, so how can you get, if you're trying to reflect and you can't get an idea of what's been stopping you, then you can use astrology to help you kind of pinpoint some things, okay? So you can look at your K2 or your South Node. Your K2 or your South Node can let you know where you're feeling kind of too comfortable. Placement of where that placement is, you might be feeling too comfortable and need to focus more on your south, your North Node, your Rahu, to kind of break those karmic loops of staying in the same place, staying stuck. So for example, if you have K2 in Aries, then you might feel really comfortable doing things by yourself, doing things on your own, being an individual. You might feel really comfortable doing that, but you also might experience the same thing. Like you're not gonna have new experiences unless you do something new. So you're going to experience the same karmic loops if you're like, I just do things by myself, I'm an individual, I work best by myself, things like that. What's going to help you break out of those karmic loops is moving more towards your Rahu in Libra, and that is not being afraid to work with other people. Okay, that can help you break out of your karmic loop. So if you can look at Saturn, and your Saturn placement will tell you where you have some type of karmic debt to pay, right? And I have Saturn in Libra. I was born in 82, so I have Saturn in Libra. And if you have Saturn in Libra, it could be, what I experience is, because Saturn can kind of isolate you. You can feel isolated. If you have Saturn in Libra, it seems like long-term commitments will be easy for you, but actually that could be something that you can be kind of afraid of, because you might want to isolate yourself from other people, because it just might seem, you might be the oddball, because that's what also some of my experience. So being the oddball kind of makes you not want to walk in your Saturn and Libra and create long-term relationships. It's going to make you want to isolate yourself because you've had so many humiliating experiences from, connecting with other people and being around other people. So that's one thing. You want to look at your Saturn placement. And so for me, my karmic debt is to make sure that I am disciplined in making connections with other people, networking, things like that. Okay. I know I'm rambling, but if you're getting anything out of this live, please like, share, and subscribe. So another thing is, you can look at your 12th house for hidden karmas. So things that might not be blatant, things that might not be out in the open, but they're there, and they could be keeping you in a karmic loop. So for example, if you have, let's see, what sign do I want to use? If you have let's say Cancer. If you have Cancer in your 12th house, then your hidden karmas could be, maybe in a past life you allowed your emotions to keep you stuck and to keep you back. Or maybe in a past life, your mother held you back, and she might be holding you back in this life. So those are things that represent Cancer. Those are things you want to be reflecting on. Look at your 12th house and kind of reflect on your hidden karmas when it comes to that. Something else you can think about is planets in your chart that are retrograde. Okay, if you have planets in your chart that are retrograde, then you can look at those planets and the meaning of those planets, and see where you could be experiencing some type of stuckness when it comes to those planets. So I'll use Venus for example. um if you have Venus retrograde in your chart, then you could have some type of karma that's connected to your relationship with women, your relationship with money, or your just relationships in general, because Venus represents relationships. So you want to look at that also. You can also look at the house and a sign that your retrograde planets are in, because they'll add more layers of karmas that might be stuck, that might be keeping you in a karmic loop. Okay, so the reason that I got into Reiki is because I wanted to. I've been doing shamanic journeys for a while, but I wanted to kind of boost it up, like boost it up a little bit, and help with the healing of the karmic cords that I'm cutting, and help with the healing of, like, because once you remove something, there's like a hole, and you want to make sure that you put something back that's healing, that can help you move forward. That's why I got into Reiki, and it's really helped me with myself and help other people move past any karmic anything that's keeping them stuck, any karmic anything that's keeping them fragmented and not whole as a person. So I want to tell you the process that I go through when it comes to giving people past life readings and helping them move forward and heal from past life situations. So the first thing I do is go on a shamanic journey. That's number one. And I might need to do it once, I might need to do it 2 times, I might need to do it 3 times. But I go on a shamanic journey so I can see what happened in past lives, what's going on with the Akashic records, things like that. That's how the first step I take to gain clarity. And then after that, I take my little notes and see what happened with that. Then after that, um I do a reading to gain even more clarity on a deeper level, get even more specific, even more detailed with um what needs to happen to help you move forward. So in the journey, I'm looking at who you were. I'm looking at who could have held you back, how you passed away. I'm looking at what your gifts were. I'm looking at the similarity between this life and that life, what you need to heal to move forward. I'm looking at all that, and I go even deeper and look at the same things with the cards. That gives me a lot of clarity on what I need to go in and do to heal. So after I do the journey and do the reading, then I'm cutting cords energetically. I'm cutting cords with candles, like I can see the cords. I'm cutting them psychically, energetically. I'm also using the candles to cut cords, and then I'm using the Reiki as a final step to go in and put, after everything is cut, healing the fragmented parts that I might see stuck in different past lives. Um, Stuck in, even in this life, you might have fragmented parts that you have disconnected from. It could be traumatic events that parts of you are still stuck in those traumatic events, and it's important to heal those parts of you and then put them back where they belong so you can be whole. That's where Reiki comes in. And so that's the whole process. And this is why I've been saying in the shorts and in the reels, I want to share this with you, because I'm starting a new group, and in this group, every week we're going to go through each process of what I do individually to help you heal from past lives and move forward. And during this eclipse season is the perfect time because the portals to heal the past and move forward are going to be open, and then you'll have so much help to do that with your ancestors and with karma helping. Okay, so in the first week we're going to go on a guided shamanic journey together, and you'll be able to see for yourself, and I'll be able to also help you see, tell you what I see as well. You'll be able to see what has kept you stuck concerning past lives, and even um, in this life, you'll be able to see it, okay, or feel it. Then I'll help you guys with looking at your chart and doing some readings to get even more clarity on what has kept you stuck. Then we'll be moving on into the cutting cords and then the healing. So for 4 weeks, this is what we'll be doing together as a group. And you can, if you're interested in doing this together, then the link is in the description box below. And I'm really looking forward to working with you. I'm really looking forward to hearing what people have experienced during this lunar eclipse. And that is basically what I wanted to share with you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your lunar eclipse.